Hello everybody and welcome back to How to Thaumcraft. I'm your host the Hittite and today we're talking about infusion altars, which we've got a lot of ground to cover, so let's jump right in. First off, we got a lot of stuff we need to make preliminary just to build the infusion altar. I'll explain why you need an infusion altar when I get to it, but for now, first off we need arcane stone. I've got a bunch of it in my inventory already right here, but how you make it is you've got 8 stone blocks in a square like this and any shard in the middle. I chose an air shard just because it's there. For now, just going to put everything back in inventory. Then the next thing we need is arcane stone pedestals. How you make those is 7 arcane stone blocks, like so. Arcane pedestals. That makes 2. You'll need a bunch of those. I'd suggest at least 10. You'll also need 4 arcane stone bricks, such as this, which I've already got it set up. And the last thing you'll need to build the altar is a runic matrix. You need 4 arcane stone, 4 shards of any kind, and in the center you need an ender pearl, which makes it a little difficult. You need a whole bunch of ordo, so you'll have to upgrade to at least gold level to make that. Going to leave that out right now, since I already have it set up. Now there's a few other things I need to make before we go. First off, I need to show you that you can make crystal clusters out of shards, like this. You can use any color of shard to get any of those, or all 6 shards to get a balanced cluster. Wait, no, it's called a mixed crystal cluster. There's also enchanted fabric. It's what you use to make the stylish thaumaturge robes I'm wearing. That's just 1 wool and 4 string around it, plus 1 of each kind of vis, minus the discount. It has some other uses, but mostly used for the thaumaturge robes, as I mentioned before. These that I'm wearing. Wrong button. Hold on. Now then, to get to our... Oh, that's why I'm lagging so much. Hold on a second. I need to turn off the... Why did it not? There it goes. And here we go. We're already set up. Now then, you need altars all around. I usually use about 8, but you can use more or less. Just make sure they're about evenly spaced, plus 1 in the center here. Then you need those arcane stone bricks, arcane stone blocks, and then immediately above the central altar, well, pedestal, is the runic matrix. Then 25 of each vis, and tap it. And you have yourself an infusion altar. Now before we can use this, we need to work on stabilizers. You can put stabilizers in an area around the runic matrix from the central spinny block thing. You've got an area 5 blocks high, 10 blocks down, and 12 blocks in each direction. Now, the type of stabilizers you have, there's a number in normal Thaumcraft. You've got these basic tallow candles, which are easy to make and easy to mass produce, and they don't have any spacing or anything issues, but they can only be placed on the floor. There's also heads from various mobs, and also those crystal clusters that I showed you how to make. Now the thing about stabilization is that it has to be horizontally symmetrical. So for instance, if I had a candle placed, oh, let's say right here, I'd have to place another candle right here to balance it out. Vertical symmetry doesn't really matter. The biggest problem with the skulls, hold on, I need to fix that hole. The biggest problem with the skulls is that the the direction they're facing is important. If say the skull is, if say I had this skull facing this way or this way, that would be asymmetrical. That would cause instability. Not a good thing to have. So I don't, for that reason I don't like putting skulls on floors so much. I prefer to put them on walls where the spacing doesn't matter, because no matter where you are when you place a skull, it's always facing directly away from a wall. Crystals are useful because you can put them on any flat surface. Floors, walls, ceilings, whatever. Plus, they come in all sorts of shapes and colors. But we're playing the Mage Quest mod pack, which means that we also have Botania, which plays nicely with Thaumcraft. A number of things from Botania can also be used as stabilizers. You've got every type of pylon, the Mana Pylon, Natura Pylon, and Gaia Pylon, although I don't think you've seen most of those in my wife's videos. You've also got Glimmering Flowers and Floating Flowers. Floating flowers I like the best because they're fairly easy to make and you can put them literally anywhere. They'll just hang in midair. In fact, I'm going to show you how I set it up in my base in the Brieries servers. Just give me a minute to head over there. Welcome everybody to my unfinished and probably never to be finished Tower of Infinite Wizardry. This is my Infusion altar. And as you can see, it's stable as all get out. Let's get a better look at those flowers, shall we? And I'm sorry how laggy it is. It's computer's having a little troubles with this. Whee! I had a lot of flowers, and my wife just put out a video explaining how to use the alchemy catalyst to make glowstone, so I had a lot of that, so I made a lot of floating flowers. So yeah, this altar is really stable. But I also mixed my types of stabilizers. Hold on. I'm also very fast here because I have a lot of things that boost my speed. As you can see, I've got concentric rings of candles and heads, and I actually didn't use any crystals because I used the shards too much, and I fell off. That's okay, I've got Featherfall. Now, down here I need to explain that you need to be careful how close you get your Botania setup to your Thaumcraft setup, because I had to put counter stabilizers for my Hydrangea rig over here. I had to create an exact mirror image over on this side, using different flowers of course, but it also helped to stabilize it. Anyway, just wanted to show off how a rig might work in practice, although this one is by far not the most efficient, I guess. I'm sure you can come up with a better one on your own. Anyway, back to the tutorial world. Now then, now that you have your altar stabilized, and honestly for most setups you don't need a whole lot of stabilizers, just a few on the sides should help, and each recipe will have its own stability listed. For instance, these tools over here, negligible instability. Something like, see, Thaumium Fortress Armor is minor, or an Arcane Boar is moderate. Let's look at something dangerous over here in Thaumic Tinker and the in-game stuff. Over with Icorium, let's see. Where's the Awakened Icorium Pickaxe? Here we go. Dangerous instability and a ton of stuff. You will need to have your altar very stable to do this. Now, what's the problem with instability? Well, it can cause all sorts of problems, but I need to give a demonstration of how it actually works first. Now, to infuse something, you need three things. head up here to Artifice because I'm going to be infusing Boots of the Traveler. Not very good for armor, but they have haste and featherfall, and they allow you to run up 1 block high obstacles. But you need 3 things. You need an object to be infused in the center, in this case leather boots. You need infusion reagents, in this case all of these around the edge, and you need essentia nearby in essentia jars. They do not contribute towards stability, so you can have them any which way you want. In this case, we need a jar of Volatus, Flight, and Iter, Travel. Now then, for the reaction, we need to put leather boots in the center. Just right-click on the pedestal with it in your hand. It'll do the rest. Then we need air shard, enchanted fabric, feather. That didn't work. Sorry, I'm double-clicking. Feather and fish. Also try to balance things on the pedestals. It'll make things go more smoothly. Now that everything's in place, we'd simply tap the spinny runic matrix thing with the wand. Now if this was unstable, you'd see all sorts of lightning and things flying out and might be taking damage. Instability can cause problems because it can knock items off of the pedestals or destroy them, and the longer it goes on, the more unstable it gets and the more flux and other things might appear. If you ever need to cancel something, just right-click the central pedestal with an open hand and you'll take the item off of it. And there we go. 1 Boots of the Traveler. You're going to be using the Infusion altar for lots of things, but we'll get to that in later episodes. For instance, next episode I'm going to be talking about getting the next level of the upgrade, of the wand upgrade, which you're going to need for a lot of reasons. But anyway, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this and this was informative, and see you next time. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.